Welcome to the Fourten podcast. I'm getting better at that. I keep forgetting to hit the play button, but that's all me. Welcome, everyone. We're excited to be back. Unfortunately, today it's just me, your host Gio, and Noah. No Alfred today. It's one of the three Musketeers is down for the day, but he will be back. But it's just us two. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm excited. I'm super stoked. It's been a long time coming to finally be back on the fields. And MDV Cup is back. Morton Cup is back. National Amateur Cup qualifiers are soon coming. So I'm sure I echo the sentiments of a lot of players out there. We're super stoked. We actually did get one match played on Thursday. G and Hawks, congratulations. They notched a 4-1 victory over Esperion. So they're looking pretty in their group, but we'll see a whole bunch of other matchups tomorrow.
Actually, it's a perfect place to start. Before I think we should talk about the Gene Hawks versus Experian game. But before we dive into it, let's let's remember those that are tuning in or new to the show. Welcome. Make sure you hit the subscribe button because DMV Sports Media is it's where it's at. I mean, come on now, hit that like button, comment, all of the above, and make sure you hit that share button.
Yeah, most
Noah,
definitely.
did you get to see this game?
This was no, I actually didn't, and I don't, to be honest, know a whole lot about it. But to me, it just sounds like more status quo from a G and Hawks. They're the proven entity, and I think we all picked them in our predictions way back when. So until proven otherwise, I think they're the favorite to move out on top from that group. And it was just more of that more veteran quality that they've shown over the years.
Yeah, for those that did check it out or maybe are just finding out about it, the Aegean Hawks did win 4-1. That now places them in, I believe it's top of their division. They're top of
They're
their group, right?
top of the group. They have a game in hand because they did play on Thursday, and so they have 4 points because they had a draw against Yins United in that first matchup. So they'll have a really important matchup against North Stars on Sunday. So they could clinch a spot, I believe, mathematically that will put them in if they get the 3 points against North Stars. A draw or a loss makes things a little bit messier, but they're still in a favorable position. So
Yeah, so the group as it stands right now is Potomac B, obviously, and the group as it stands is the Aegean Hawks, Yins United, North Star, and Esperion at the bottom. Obviously, North Star hasn't played a game yet, which is
yeah,
wild to think that. And obviously, Aegean Hawks has played two games, but it's just that's how it's been this winter.
yeah, yeah. Get
um,
ready for a whole sprint in the next week. We're going to be getting tons of matches in, especially since a lot of teams are not really trying to play on Super Bowl Sunday or want to find a way around playing later in the day. So we'll have a couple midweek matchups. We obviously have a full slate of games on Sunday, and there'll be one Saturday match as well, which I know is a little uncommon. But so it's Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then next Sunday as well. And I think there's going to be one match played in the following week on that Wednesday after, and then we're on to the knockout round. So we'll go
that's
from
insane.
nothing to something, yeah, in just a short amount of time.
It's like talking about sprint. I mean, hey, you know what? Teams are gonna go into their season ready, so hey,
Absolutely. I mean, everyone's at the
you're here.
relatively the same, disadvantage in terms of playing quickly. Obviously, the teams that do have a deeper player pool are going to be a little bit ahead. The teams that played in week one are going to be a little ahead, but generally speaking, I think everyone's going to have to play in a less than optimal kind of match congestion.
Yeah, for sure. But well, so we're going to talk about the matches that are actually going to take place this week. I know we've already previewed them, but as you said, no, it's a new day. Things have changed. Maybe we've seen things or heard things from other teams that we like. So we're really going to focus on the teams that we're gonna stream. Right? We're obviously we'll talk about all of them, but we'll really kind of dive into the games that we're going to stream here. But uh, before we dive into the Sunday games, which are tomorrow, do you know if there are any Thursday games or how many games are going to happen between this weekend and next weekend?
Let's see. So tomorrow, Sunday, there will be 8 games. One on Wednesday, that 9. one on Thursday that makes it 10, and then one on Saturday, so 11. Um, and then I think the 12th game that needs to be played is going to take place the Wednesday after that. I don't think that no, there's going to be four Maryland games. So, okay, that's 16 games with the four Maryland games on Super Bowl Sunday. It's mainly Virginia that gets affected because Virginia has later field permits. So they're going to be trying to play anytime they can outside of Super Bowl time.
So the reason I mention that is because right now we're talking, most teams have either played one game, very few have played two games, and the next time we'll be talking, the scenario is going to be very different.
Oh, yeah.
So I I just wanted to point out how much this is going to look different from what we're talking about right now. Um,
Yeah.
but
If
let's
you
dive.
haven't subscribed, you haven't, been following every match, if this is one you're seeing, for sure now is a good time to subscribe to the channel. You're gonna get your, quote unquote money's worth, even though it's free, and you're gonna see a bunch of games because we do have a lot of these games streamed, and then we're gonna get to recap these games, on the next time we do the show on the next weekend.
Right, exactly. So lot of footy coming your way if you are you're subscribed here in the channel. The first matchup of the weekend is going to start with Christos and Das Beer Hall. We're not unfortunately going to stream this game, but I do think has any do we think anything has changed?
To be honest, no, I don't. I think I'm still going to take Christos, although I know that Beer Hall is a team that's going to find a way to kind of um, slow down the game or at least shorten the game in a way that's going to make the score very manageable. I predict maybe 1-0, 2-0 in favor of Christos, but it's tough to pick against Christos until proven otherwise.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. But when I found out about Das Beer Hall, I don't know why I didn't put two and two together. I didn't know they were backed by the Das Beer Hall pub. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I I have
absolutely.
no
Yeah.
idea why I didn't know that.
They celebrate there all the time. I'm trying to tell them they need to get one of the TVs in the pub playing their games on Sundays, and
That's what I'm saying. Like,
very easy to
just
do.
grow the community right there, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you're already backed by the pub. They have two pubs now, one in Bel Air and one on Parkville. So
Hmm.
it's it only makes sense to stream your games. But yeah, I would like to see Das Beer Hall to take a win because it changes up the scenes, right? It
Hmm.
puts Christos on the hot seat, but it's very hard to go against Christos. I mean, they're proven champs, so
Yeah, I could
I'm
see a situation in which Beer Hall do manage a draw. I'm still gonna pick the Christos win, but I'm gonna put that little caveat there. I could see, that's not an unlikely situation. They're a smart team,
they're a good
and they
team.
really know how to execute a game plan together.
Yeah, I mean, like Christos is really built on talent, right? Obviously, the that roster is really making a big change, right? Because they're bringing in a lot of new young players, getting rid of some of the more veteran players, players that have proven to play with them in their style. So Christos is probably gelling or getting to gelling to where they usually are. So we might see some leeway where Das Birol could really take advantage of that.
Yeah, most definitely.
So we'll see. All right. So the first game we will be streaming will be Bullies Athletics versus Team United. This one I'm really excited for. Aside from the fact that I'll be making my debut on on DMV Sports Media as
Let's
the
go.
play-by-play, I'm really that's probably no, I'm kidding. These are two teams I'm really excited to see. So I am really looking forward to this match. It's going to be
Yeah,
at 1 p.m. Troy Park Field number 4. Troy Park is going to be busy.
yeah, that's it's gonna be a hopping day. And because you're getting to do the honors on the microphone tomorrow, I'll be joining you. But I'm gonna let you pick first in this one because this is your territory. I'm gonna follow up on
See,
you.
I feel bad now though because I like so two things. The commentators curse and then I feel like I shouldn't be I should be unbiased, right? But Bowley's did do an interview with us. No, I'm kidding. That's
Yeah.
not why.
Well, it's also like you can be unbiased or claim to be unbiased and still choose a team, right? We're just picking objectively. You know what I mean? Like
That's fair.
based
That's
on
fair.
the
No,
players.
I think I'm really excited for this Bullies team. Right. I think the team that they have, their promotion to the Division One, just their performance against Christos. this team is very excited. So for that, I'm gonna give them a 1-0 win over Team United.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, again, I feel an urge to be contrarian, but it's tough to not be on the Bullies hype train right now. I'm giving 3-1 to Bullies. I think Team United will make it a fight. But right now they've got a lot of momentum. I've still seen more signings coming in from the college community. I think Austin Hyde is doing a tremendous job with growing the team and using his network of college players to create a squad that's going to be tough to beat at this amateur level.
Yeah, I mean, this team is exciting, both on and off the field. I'm really excited for what they're trying to do and what they're gonna do. Uh, those that do follow the team, you should come out because it'll be super fun to have an atmosphere there, and
And Team
I know the
United
boys will
fans. I
enjoy
know,
it.
I know Team United has a
Yeah,
good following as well. So let's
yeah,
go.
come
Let's
on
see.
out.
Let's see it.
Make my debut fun. Selfishly. But yeah, I this is gonna be a good one. This is obviously gonna be streamed on channel 1 p.m. But then it's gonna be followed by, I think, maybe this is a little early to say, but I think this is the match of the weekend for me. Um,
Yeah,
Rostosi's versus Steel Pulse, which you will be in the helm, being the play by play for Rostosi versus Steel Pulse at 3 p.m. at Troy Park, field number 4.
that's right. Yeah, I mean, this is the one we've been looking for. We've had to wait for it, but it'll be well worth the wait, or at least I anticipate. And this is a matchup we saw in the last MDV Cup. Ristosi shocked Steel Pulse in kind of a thriller. 6-3 was the final score line, and Ristosi was able to advance during that storybook run in which they knocked out Nova, Steel Pulse, and then Christos in successive fashion. Of course, Steel Pulse, they did have their revenge during the regular season. They defeated Ristosi in strong form, but it's Cup time again. It's Winter Cup time. Steel Pulse, they are a team that has been at the top for a while. There has been questions asked to them, and for that reason, I'm going to go 2-1 in favor of Ristosi. Ristosi has a lot of juice right now. Steel Pulse, I'll start to pick differently once they can restore, assuage some of those fears that I have in terms of their organizational, their heart in the match. But for right now, it's going to be Ristosi.
You know, uh, I'm very much on the Rostosi hype train with you. I do think Steel Pulse has also been known as a tournament team for a long time, right? Where they show up. When I say tournament team, I don't mean just tournaments, but I mean they show up when the matches matter,
Yeah,
right? Regular season is questionable, but when the matches matter, I remember always seeing a very wild and different Steel Pulse team. So, but there are a lot of questions, and I'm gonna agree with you. I think Rastosi is just gonna be a solid performance. Still gonna continue to build on what they're doing. I mean, they have to get ready for their MPSL debut season. So, I mean, they have to put on, right.
yeah.
So I think they're gonna take away the victory.
I'll say this though. I'm keeping my vote, but I'll say there's a chance last winter maybe Steel Pulse got caught a little off guard. Wasn't they'd already beaten this young upstart team and maybe weren't prepared in the same way. That's not going to be the case this year. We're going to get Steel Pulse is like a fool me once type of team, and I think we're going to see the very best players on the field for them, or at least I hope. So definitely, if you have limited time tomorrow and you're looking which match to tune into, that is the one. Steel Pulse, Ristosi. It's got to be our match of the week, I think.
Yeah, I'm 100% back that. So if you're not subscribed, you're definitely gonna miss this one out. But you should definitely subscribe. Make sure you watch this one. If this is the one match you can have time for, this is the one match you should watch.
Definitely.
Plus, I mean, 6-1 is not gonna happen again. We know that for a fact. It's gonna be a fun match though,
Yeah, six
nonetheless.
three, 6-3. Yeah,
6-3, sorry. Six.
yeah,
I mean, that's a high scoring game.
yeah.
It's wild. Wild. All right. So then the last match that's going to be taking part in Troy Park, field number 4, is going to be Patuxent versus Baltimore Kickers at 5 p.m. And this one we're not streaming on the channel, but any quick quick pick on this?
It's a tough one. It's two teams that kind of struggled in their opening week. Baltimore Kickers. I'm gonna pick them in a tight contest. I think they're gonna get the 1-0 nod. They're a team going back over the years we've watched them that does seem to create. Unfortunately, and they'll tell you this themselves. They've been a bit woeful in front of goal. They've not
Mm.
capitalized on the chances. They do tend to play a little bit vertically. They don't go for a ton of possession, but against Patuxent, who looked, not maybe on their best foot, that kind of vertical strategy might yield results. And I think tomorrow's their day. They're going to find some goals, or at least find a goal. And Wills Huddleston, their goalkeeper, he had a big match against Steel Pulse. Did have one letdown, but otherwise was fantastic. I think he's going to regain that form, and he's going to help put up a shutout.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I was really big on the Patuxent hype train, but I, they're not proving it. They're not proving it. I mean, they had a great season last season, and their second team in the EPSL, or yeah, EPSL. The USL 2 team wasn't awful. It was great. It was a pretty decent team with that competitive division they're in. I just had more expectations. The first match that they had wasn't convincing at all, and y- Baltimore Kickers is because of, I think it's the historical side of it
Hmm.
that always gives me the want to see them succeed.
Yeah,
Like I just want to see them do good. So I'm just gonna go off of feels right here and just say they're gonna take this win. I'm not gonna put a score line to it, but I think it's gonna be their day.
fair enough.
Uh, all right, let's move over to Virginia. Yes, yes, Langley High
That's great.
School.
Yep.
We actually no. Let's start with the earlier game. We're gonna start at Ken Lawrence Park at 4 p.m. Yins United versus Esperion.
Yeah.
Uh, this is for me. This is an easy pick. I'm going Yins.
Yeah, I think Yins, G and Hawks, they've proven that they're kind of on the same level. Two veteran teams. Actually, they drew in their first week, 3-3. Um, Similar, and because of the disparity in the score line, I don't know if Aspirian is ready on that level just yet. So yeah, I think Yins is the easy pick, 2-1.
Do you know where Esperion plays their regular season? Is it the APL,
Yeah,
right?
they're in the first division American Premier League. They're in the top American Premier League.
So this is a matchup we've seen or can potentially see quite often. And for those that don't know, I think it was Aegean Hawks versus what was the final?
It
Toros?
was
Not
4-1.
Toros.
The G and Hawks beat Aspirian on Thursday. Or
Thank
are
you.
you talking Yins?
No, no, no. The final for the APL. I can't remember who what the final was.
The final score for Thursday, or the final championship final?
The championship final for
Oh,
the
so it
for the
was
wall.
Los Toros that knocked off Yins United 2-0.
Right. Yes. So Yins is at a point where they fight with the big boys or the
Mm-hmm.
big boys, right, of the state, and then also Aegean Hawks is relatively a well known name here. So I don't think Experion is there at that stage yet. I think they'll get there if they keep consistently have a good squad, looking for different talents. I think they can make it there, but the Aegean Hawks and Yings are just, I think they're just a level above. All right, so then let's move over to, we're gonna stay at Ken Lawrence Park, and we're gonna talk about Aegean Hawks versus North Star at 6 p.m. now. Uh, you want to pick this one?
Yeah, I think we've been going too bland with all of our picks. I'm gonna go crazy on this one. I'm picking North Stars
Oh
very
boy.
well over at G and Hawks. It's you gotta
Nah.
it's like the NCAA tournament. Every once in a while, you gotta find a time to just pick your spot and go. So here's my thinking. Right, at G and
Oh, are
Hawks
you
played
playing this
third.
game? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, oh yeah. And G and Hawks played Thursday night. Okay, so it's a tough turnaround time. They're already sitting in a comfortable position, right? It's not a guaranteed in, but they are feeling themselves. They're feeling maybe they can take a step off the pedal. North Stars Berryville are hungry. They haven't gotten a single match played. They're a team that sees themselves as one of the preeminent teams in the area, and they haven't gotten that kind of respect yet because they haven't proven it yet. But I'm telling you, there are some ballers in that side. I've trained with them before. They do have some players, and I think they're going to get as many of their starters, quote unquote starters, as they'll ever have. So this is my time. I think it's going to be a hard fought match. I can see this going their way. I may get completely proven wrong, but hey, I'm picking my moments here.
Hey, look, no, you know what? It's not a bad shout because there's only G and Hawks. This is their last game, right? This is their last game of the group stage. So I mean, unless Yings goes out and just wins. Well, I mean, even still, even if the Yings wins both their matches, it's technically would be Yings and Jin Hawk. So I it's not a bad shout. Yings could just be like, you know what, let's just cruise control it. Let's play for the tie, and
You mean
North
Hawks?
Star could be like, oh no, I mean, yeah, Hawks. Um uh Aegean Hawks could play for the tie, and North Star would be like, you know what? No, we're not. We're gonna play for the win. So it's not a bad shout,
Yeah.
but I don't think
Hawks.
that's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
That's fair enough. That one
I
would.
think. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we're not streaming that one. They might be streaming it themselves. North Stars. I can't confirm. But it may be. If you want to see it though, I would go out to Ken Lawrence Park at 6 p.m. and check it out. That might be an interesting one to watch. No doubt.
Yeah, I think it will be a fun one, but I'm gonna go Hawks. Like I know this is a very bland take, but I'm just gonna go Hawks. It's just
Yeah.
they're a good team. They're a proven team, good team. Like I personally, as a coach, wouldn't want to see my guys go lay back for the last group stage match, knowing we're going into the knockout stages. Nah, we're not taking the foot off the gas. But hey, I'm not the coach, so
And they don't
I
really
could be
use a
100
coach.
percent
They're not
wrong.
like a rah kind of a team. They're veteran players that coach themselves. So yeah, I guess they'll probably have it within themselves to see it through. But maybe not. I,
Well,
I did see them take a step off the gas in the APL playoffs when they lost to Yins in the semifinals. That was a game they were
mhm.
not at their best. Um, and Yins, to their credit, was exceptional. So maybe that's in the back of my head. We'll see though.
No, it's haunted. Langley High School, Team Orange versus World Class Premier. I don't know why I went with that one, but we're gonna go with that one because there was an earlier game, I think. But that game is at 7 p.m. We are not streaming that game, but it is still an interesting game. I think these two teams have a lot to prove still. I think, both talented teams. They just, I don't, I'm not convinced by either one yet. So I'm gonna go draw.
You're gonna go
I'm
draw.
gonna go 1-1. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go 2-2. I think this will be a high scoring game. So 2-2. That's not high
Yeah,
scoring, but high
I'm
shots.
I'm gonna double down on my bad bet from week one, in which I took Orange. I'm gonna choose Orange. 2-0. I think they're really, it's make or break. I mean, they win, they get the win, or they're basically eliminated. So I think that they're gonna fix those issues that they had in the back line in week one against Toros. And they're gonna find a result. Um, World Class Premier has tons of talent too. Daniel
Hmm.
Mancra always is a standout player, Dino as well. Um, but it's a matter of, because they don't have a deep roster, there's, one or two guys don't show up, and it can start to affect them. So I'm going to take Orange for all those reasons.
Let me ask you, Noah, if you were the coach of World Class Premier and you're looking at, it's Saturday, whatever time it is right now, 4:54, and you're looking at, you have to play Team Orange tomorrow, and then on February 8th you're playing Alexandria United, and then on February 12th you're playing Toros. Where are you putting your eggs?
I'm putting my eggs where I can fit them, because the reality is it may not come down to managing players based on the opponent. It's going to come down to what
Hmm.
do you have on any particular day based
That's
on
fair.
this dude is coaching a youth team. This guy has to pick his kid up. So I think based on that, based on what you have available, let's say you have a guy available for this game and he's not available for the next two, all in everything. You're putting the better of the 90. I'm going to run you into the ground because I know you're done after this. Whereas, maybe the guy that has to play next Saturday, he's more of a situational kind of usage.
That's a fair take. I will back off. I was gonna say, if I was a coach, I would go all in for Team Mirage, but that's a fair statement. Sometimes availability is the question that really hinders these teams from bringing out their A squad. So
Yeah.
that's fair. All right, and then the final match of yes, the final match of the weekend, which we will be streaming, will be Los Toros versus Alexandria United, and this will be at Thomas Jefferson High School at 8 p.m. And correct me if I'm wrong, Alfred's going to be the one on the call.
Yeah. So if you're missing Alfred's voice on this podcast tonight, you're going to get to hear Alfred tomorrow on that late match in Virginia. Alfred will be leading the broadcast team in that one.
Yeah, and this is an exciting game. I mean, Alexandria United, solid team. Los Toros, we know, is a top quality team. Who are you picking?
Oh, it's tough. Again, conflict of interest here, right? I have a special interest with Alexandria, but I also am a huge Toros fan too, and I have incredible, profound respect for what Coach Dave has done with that group. So, I'm going to temper my temper my expectations, and I'm just going to go draw. I'm gonna say 2-2. I think that Alexandria finds uses their energy because they haven't played a single match, right? They've got tons of young players, and they were somewhat embarrassed in the last time they played against Toros, 5-1 in the VSSL semifinals.
Oof.
I think that that's all the motivation that they'll use to find a result. I can't. I don't think I can choose victory just because Toros is too good, and even the draw maybe, you know, optimistic on their behalf. But we're gonna see. It's gonna be a really strong matchup of teams. Though.
I am just gonna rip the band-aid off and say Toros looks too good, man. They look too good. They've been looking too good.
Yeah,
Like I would like to see someone upset them, but I don't think it's Alexandria United. Please don't
yeah.
come at me, Alexandria United. I really appreciate what you're doing on your social media. Love the branding, but I just Toros is very. They just look good. They just look like a solid team, and they've been performing solid. So I'm gonna go Toros. I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna put a score line to it, but I'm gonna take Toros.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that front line is insane. Jakob Esfa, Hamer Diaz, Aiden Mahoney, Tim Savene, Freddie Jovel in the midfield. You have the back line led, by a veteran group, and they have a whole host of goalkeepers in the stable that can step in at any time. That's not a team where if you have a couple guys who are unavailable, it's really going to cause an issue. So they're always a solid pick, and yeah, it's totally respectable.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be interesting. I mean, oh, they're such a good team to watch. They're a fun team to watch. They are very dynamic, and they do not play boring soccer. I'll tell you that.
Really vertical team.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just they'll use their midfield, but they'll use the midfield to just send the ball up to the front three. And with that group, it's honestly an approach that does work out. It's tough to stop players with that kind of speed. Um, and yeah, they have a
I will say I will say like they do send the ball, but they also try to play tactical like through balls, right? Because I mean I've seen some of the highlights on the channel that have been just some insane forward passes or through balls that just
yeah,
and then they know how to score, man. They know how
yeah.
to score.
They know
That's
how
the
to find
problem.
the back of the net, no
Right.
doubt about it. And they have a really fun supporter group too. They get oh man, they get opposition teams so irritated, and it's funny because they'll be yelling back up at the stands, and you've won as a supporter if you can get engagement from the opposite team. They're
Oh
yelling
yeah.
back at you. They're off your game. You've already won. You're doing a
Yeah.
solid for your team. So you
Hundred
know
percent. That's the 100%. That's
you
what
got
you
to
want to
go
do,
into it
right?
and you just got to smile if you're an opponent player or just completely ignore it because if you start engaging they'll go right back, they'll start talking to you, and it's really a funny thing to watch.
Me personally, if I'm a supporter and I'm yelling stuff out and I see a player react to it, depending on how they react, is either I double down and just make it worse, or if they laugh, I just like what, he's just having a good time.
Yeah.
uh, but we're not going to cover much of the Morton Cup. I think we should mention uh, Solange is playing street footy at 11 a.m. in Columbia, Blend Air Park, field number 2. I think this is going to be a good game. Solange is just a really good team. Street footy, I'm not too sure about. I didn't pay attention to any of the Maryland leagues. This is a big unknown for me.
Mhm.
But I know Solange is a good team, so
Yeah,
I think
I'm
this is
choosing.
going to be a
I
good
got
match.
I got to take Slancha.
Yeah,
Another big one to watch out for. Um, Starliners, Baltimore City. Starliners had a big result in week one. We already know Baltimore City has got to be one of the favorites
it's a
of the
good team.
tournament, although they fell in week one. So I think they're going to get back to it and throw their Group A into chaos, because if Baltimore City gets the 3 points, then it's Starliners, Baltimore City, and then depending on this Lancha result, it could be multiple teams on 3 points.
That's probably like the strongest group, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like. I don't see another team, another group that's like that could be that diverse. I think.
I have heard that the Moco Blazers, ACFC, and Chevrolet group is quite strong. A lot of players who play for different UPSL teams that aren't participating, are playing in the group, and then of course
Mm,
Blazers and Moco both, they're
the
UPSL
UPSL.
teams as well. So yeah, a couple of strong teams. I'll say in the past, the Morton Cup has had a couple of teams that were really strong. Like one year we had DMV Elite, who of course now play their ball in NPSL. Das Beer Hall has been a perennial powerhouse. They've since upgraded to the MDV Cup and Stewart and Roland Cup.
Hmm.
But this is more of a spread out talent instead of a
Yeah,
few powerhouse teams. I think there's a strong field, and it speaks to just the depth of talent in the state, in the area. We have obviously a few quote unquote untouchable teams. I'll say Christos on their better days, Steel Pulse, Los Toros is getting into that category. Stosi's making a strong case. But then just under that, there is such a wealth of talent and teams that are hungry for growing their name.
yeah. I mean, it's most of the history I remember of Maryland. There's always been like that group of untouchables, and then but but nowadays I feel like that untouchable gap isn't as big as it used to be. Like I remember Christos, anytime they took a field or Steel Pulse, there was a time, or anytime they took the field, it was a definite win, definite win. Now I feel like there's a lot of teams that could potentially sneak up on them or upset them, or even give them a really good game that almost looks like they could be upset, but they ultimately end up getting the win. I don't know. I feel like there's not that big of a gap anymore. I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
I mean, just put it in perspective. We've got 32 teams. 32. There's no overlap between MDV and the Morton Cup. 32 teams, and to be honest, save maybe a couple of teams in the bottom of the Morton Cup. Um, they're all like pretty solid teams, like really
Yeah.
strong teams. And there's teams that aren't even participating in these cups.
Right.
The DCFC from the DC Premier League. We didn't see Nova this year, or Marauders, and so the footy in this area, it's looking really strong, and I'm super optimistic for what we're going to see in years to come in terms of how different competitions can potentially work together and harness all of this talent. And oh, did we mention spectators? Can you help us out? We would love to start seeing some more fans watching, because there's so much talent here, and I think it's all coming into fruition.
For sure, yeah. I think that's the next step, right? Like getting fans to get really involved and invested into these teams, because then the atmospheres will just really shine a light on these teams, and more players are going to want to play the teams. I guarantee it. Maybe I could be wrong, but I guarantee it.
Yeah,
Noah, I know we wanted to dive in kind of quickly into the Super Soccer League a little bit. I don't know if we still have time. If you just want to give a quick rough, like what lay of the land is going to look like, or do we
yeah.
save it for next time?
Well, yeah, I'll just give it real quick. So, the Maryland Super Soccer League is going to kick off March 23rd. That is, I think, the last Sunday in March. So, we'll have a nice quick barrier between the cups, and then of course the spring season. It's looking really strong. 7 teams for Division One. Ambition and Bowleys join the top 5 teams, returning from Division One. So. That's going to be super exciting. We're still working out the details of how the schedule is going to look, but there is a potential. I'll just leave it at that. There's a potential we might see a different sort of format, and I'll just leave that teaser there in terms of you know regular season playoffs, how it works. You're going to have to stick around on the channel to find out more in terms of how we're going to unveil that. Division two, likewise, the best teams are returning. Slancha is going to be back. We're going to see Idiad, who just missed playoffs, NPC, who put another playoff campaign together, all competing. And we also have some new teams. I'm not going to, tell any of the new teams' names just yet. You're going to have to stick around for that. But I will say we've got a few teams coming over from, UPSL quality. And then there's a couple other teams we're still figuring it out. But if you're a team that's on the fence and is considering playing in, what has to be one of the strongest, most up and coming leagues in the area,
No, it is.
It is. Thank you. Yes,
it is
it
the
is.
strongest.
And until proven otherwise, I mean, just look at the records from the teams. But don't hesitate. Reach out to the contact. Reach out to me. Reach out to dmvsportsmedia@gmail.com. Or my number is found all over the Super Soccer League website. Even if you're not sure, let's have a conversation. Let's figure it out. I'll be happy to tell you how we do. How we conduct the Super Soccer League, what you're looking at in terms of the teams you'll be playing, and I think you'll be really pleased with what we have to offer.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Much footy to look forward to. Noah, I appreciate you for jumping on here and giving us a little time to talk about this weekend, which is going to be action packed. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that subscribe button, share, comment, like, and hit the noti bell because we have three matches tomorrow:
Yeah.
1 p.m.,
Shout out
3
also
p.m.,
to
and 8
Virginia
p.m.
Super League too. I got carried away with Maryland. There's a whole conference, 8
Yes.
teams, some of the best teams in the area. Virginia Dream, Los Toros, or also Virginia Dream, not one of those 32 teams. That was the other one I was thinking about. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. That's what I'm saying. 32 teams, and we're not even talking about Nova FC, Virginia Dream, DCFC, and it's almost like, I mean, of course they would add something, but it's not like the tournament is really suffering in a big way. I mean, we have Ristosi, Los Toros, Steel Pulse, Christos, Bowleys is
How
making
can
it.
we get how can we get Annapolis Blues to play in these tournaments?
Well, it's a tough ask because I don't think they could even do a competition like the U.S. Open Cup, or because they're players,
Oh right, they're USL
they're
now.
college players that may not be in the area, may not be available or even eligible right now to compete. So it's a tough ask. The summer competition teams tend to be almost like a
Limited.
completely different planet than the ones that
Yeah,
do
they're
it.
limited with the roster availability when their players are around. Yeah, I hear it. I hear it. But it would be cool, right? Like it would be a cool tournament to have. Like imagine if we could literally have every single Maryland and Virginia team in these tournaments. That'd be fun. Fun
There's
times.
going to be the summer. There's going to be a summer competition too. I can't speak to who's going to participate, but we're trying to juice these things up so it becomes appealing, and that's kind of how it is. It's not attraction. It's more, sorry, it's not promotion. It's attraction, and we just keep doing our
Hmm.
thing. I think those teams will come as we keep, the media side coming. We keep bringing in strong players, strong teams, and
Yep.
bringing the spectators out.
Storylines all day. Spectators, come on out. If you can't come out tomorrow, as I mentioned, hit that subscribe button so you can get the games here. We love your support anyhow. Everyone, have yourself a good one. We'll see everyone out there tomorrow and Sunday.
Take care, everyone.
Oh, damn, no, I cut you off.
Oh, no worries. I like hesitated too long, anyways.